Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson here.
This is the professional Nathan Cruz.
Yo, this is Man Like Doris.
Hi, this is Tom Thurber.
This is Benji.
This is the Asian sensation Kanji.
This is the Nightmare Fuel Hassan Malone.
This is Joe Rage, the heavyweight classic.
This is Mad Dog O'Doherty.
This is Tonga.
I'm the Breaker, Carl Kingsley.
This is the infamous Cameron Solis, and you're listening
You're listening to
Broken but Glorious.
Broken but Glorious.
To Broken but Glorious podcast, because like me, you are head to toe a pro.
Hello and welcome to my Brit West journey. I'm Chris Lappin. I'm delighted to be joined online by Carl Stoxx. How are you doing this evening, Carl?
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, huge thanks for joining me this evening. It's hot and sweaty and we're both dying of hay fever.
Yeah.
So we apologise for any sniffs and coughs and sneezes. I'll try and cut as many as I can, but I'm sure I'll miss a couple. But yeah. So Carl's joined us to promote Tommy and Tobias' wrestling show in the Circle in, I want to say it right,
Go on.
Bacup.
Bacup, that's right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it looked like Bacup, but
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't pronounced like that. On Sunday the 16th of July.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a spectacular wrestling show for all the family. It's a tragic story behind the show, but it's a great cause to raise money for. So.
You still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I've got you, yeah. My laptop keeps saying digital experience disabled, then digital experience enabled. So I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, did you hear the last bit I said? Or?
Yeah, I got it all. Yeah, perfect.
Yes, so you tell us about the show. How did you get involved with it? And
yeah, so when I heard of the crash before I realised who it was. Like, it's obviously on everywhere on social media in terms of Northern news, like Proper Manchester reported on it, the MEN reported on it, things like that. And I was like, that's sad, as you do. When you read something, you move on. You kind of forget about it. And then about 3 days went by, and someone at my work said, have you heard about Tom's kid? I was like, no, what's going on? And then turns out the crash was involving Tom's kid, a work colleague of mine. And
oh, no.
Yeah, so the situation. So Tom is called Tom Spencer. His son's called Tommy. His nephew is called Tobias, and there's another boy called Rocky involved. Mm-hmm. The lady who was driving, she was pregnant, is Tommy's mum, Tobias's auntie, and also Rocky's mum as well. So it's instantly your heart kind of breaks, because when someone's that close for you, it's shocking for them, because with Tom Spencer is such a nice man. I mean, it's not to say I wouldn't do it if it was just somebody I knew I didn't like. For there's nobody I don't like, to be honest. But when it's someone that you think he's such a top guy and he doesn't deserve this, he's had a tough year himself. Without going into too much details, and the other GoFundMe, last I checked, I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was up to about 44,000 for the GoFundMe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that's a phenomenal amount. Don't get me wrong, that's an absolutely phenomenal amount. I put myself in there £30, and I thought that's just not enough. Like, for myself, what can I do? So Tom's been speaking to me at work a few times when you're near my area, because he lives like Saddleworth region, or when you're close by, let me know. I do Unstoppable, which is Burnley, which is 30-20 minutes away from him. Mm-hmm. Bolton, but there's nothing too much close to Saddleworth. Then you go into like Yorkshire territory, but it's still 45 minutes away from where he's based. But then when I did have something, it was like, he's with his mum, or I'm not available that weekend. So there's always schedule clashes. So sorry, my phone's just going here. Let me turn that off.
Okay.
So when this all happened, and I give the £30, literally I was sat at work and I was just daydreaming, as I usually do. And it's a case of, I can do more here. I can definitely do more, but I was more hesitant about asking his permission to do it because it's a sensitive subject.
Yeah.
Than I was the guys. And oxymoronically, I asked the guys first if they'd be open to it rather than Tom, because I didn't want to message Tom so quickly after what had just happened.
Yeah.
And I said, we've got a group chat at Bolton Town Wrestling, and there was a thread of conversation, and so I just put one big note saying, on a somber tone, guys, sorry to bring this down, blah blah blah, and the response was just phenomenal. Everyone was willing to work. They're doing it for free. They're taking times out of the Sunday. I've got some good names in there. I've got people traveling from Scotland. I've got people traveling from Wales. I had messages from the Midlands. I had messages from France, believe it or not, as well. And I had to say, listen, I can't accept you coming from France for a free show for you. It would be worth it. But thank you very much for reaching out. Appreciate it. I put a post out on Facebook saying rookies wanted, because I also want to do something for the wrestling community in the sense that we've got a bunch of guys here who are experienced, who are going to be in the matches. But if people are new to the business, say a year and a half in, and they want to network and all that type of good stuff, get some exposure in the ring and a rumble, please feel free, join us. So we've got some guys doing that as well. Nice. But yeah, I had like Ravy Davey message me of ICW. He's got his own promotion up in Scotland, community pro wrestling. I met him once when I did a show in Newcastle, maybe 5 years ago now, talking. And I said, I really wish that I could have you, but I don't want to have you travel all the way down for you to do it for free, and travel all the way back. And he said, I want to do it. Please let me do it. So he asked me. I said, if you're serious, I'll put your main event. Promise you this. I said, let me get the dates, because the original dates I had was the 4th and the 7th. Sorry, the 7th and the 14th of July, which are both Fridays. But with the venue, he could only do certain dates, which didn't fit with Ravy Davey. So he said, I tell you what, I'll send you a bunch of lads down. So we've got like 5 lads coming down from Scotland, one of who just tagged with Grado as well. So I put him in the main event straight away. I'll take Ravy Davey's word for it. But yeah, going back to what you said, I knew I could do more. What you asked, I knew I could do more for Tom. And as soon as I asked him, he was like, I appreciate that so much. He'd love it. So as soon as I got permission, it was just wheels in motion.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you have any names from the British scene or matches that can be announced? Or?
Yeah, of course. So I'm wrestling myself. Me and Callum Corey, or Sandy Beach, as he's known as the Tequila Slammers. We're going to defend our championship title there against Jack Johnson and the Rabbit.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a great team.
Who are 2 of my favourite guys, because me, Callum, it's quite sentimental to me as well, because me, Callum, Alan, and Jack, we all came through together at the same time, same promotion, same trainer, made our debut at the same time on the same show, and we're all somewhat successful within wrestling. Me more recently than the other guys. Alan's been a champion at GT Ministries. I think he's the current champion there. He's been the Bolton Town Wrestling champion. Same with Jack Johnson.
Yeah, the last 6 months, Rabbit just seems to have just exploded. He's everywhere. Just like,
yeah. Listen, we've been. The thing is with Alan, it's not that he's not a social media guy. He's and he's not one. He doesn't drive, which never helps in wrestling. But he also doesn't put himself out there enough. And I think it's kind of a good thing, because I always say sometimes with wrestlers that it's so sudden to get out there that they'll burn themselves out, and that's what happened with me. So I was so eager to get myself out there that I put myself under so much pressure. I ended up crumbling under pressure and thinking, who am I? What's my gimmick? What am I doing? Rather than just going, can I work your show? Can I work your show? Blah, blah, blah. Trying to get myself, can I help with the ring and all that stuff. But with Alan and Jack Johnson more recently as well, because he's going to be phenomenal in the next 12 months. You'll see more.
Yeah, he's so good.
His improvement in the since the pandemic return. I mean, us guys again, us guys who came through them, we've known how good. It's almost like a secret of how good they are. But when you don't put yourself out there to be known, like Jack didn't, and like Alan didn't, and Alan doesn't, then they're always going to be that unknown entity. But now Alan, you see, the Rabbit is doing Tidal, is doing Pro Wrestling for You. He's getting more and more traction now, and they realise he's a good, solid heel or comedy character. Jack Johnson, since he's had a couple of gimmicks, hasn't he?
You'd ever think just saying Salford would be a gimmick, and that'd be the one get you over.
It works, and he had the Wasp, which was a silly gimmick. When we all came through, it was originally Wrestle Pro. It's now Pinfall. We all got given silly gimmicks. So I was a soldier. Jack Johnson was a Wasp. And we had to fight through them silly gimmicks to get to where we are. Jack was the Wasp, and then he became Dwayne McKenzie, which is kind of similar to what he is now. But I guess when somebody must have said Jack Johnson's a fine name for a wrestler, just be who you are and turn it by times by 10, which is what the old saying is in wrestling. He's found his niche, and it's working, because now he's just about to get on This Is Wrestling. He's coming up to that. In the future, I predict he'll be on Sov Pro very quickly. He's on BWP.
You know, a couple of Wrestle Island shows. He's been Infamous shows.
There we are, Infamous. Yeah. Wrestle Island is going to make a big impact there. And then again, going back to the four of us, Callum Corey obviously has been on Progress. Been champion at Future Shock. He's been champion at GPW, and the kid's got a massive future.
Yeah, he's just been a bit. He's just been hindered by injuries the last 18 months, hasn't he? But he is really good. So.
He's my best friend. He's my best man at my wedding, and so he'll allow me to say this, but unfortunately, he's made of glass. Yeah. But he's one, and I said this on a different podcast recently, that I put him in the upper echelons of talent in the UK, and he's back now. He's just returned back to Future Shock, and I put him there with the likes of Sonna Dursun and whoever else right now is at the top. In terms of athletic, not too much of a gimmicky type. Put them in a ring with anyone, and they can have a match with anyone. And in the next 12 months, he'll be right at the top of British wrestling. That guy as well. So yeah, sorry, I digressed. We've got that tag match there. Let me see what else I can announce. There is Lucy Sky's appearing.
Oh, amazing.
We've also got Isaac North appearing. I don't want to touch on his match yet, because that's subject to change depending on one particular person's availability. And we also have, what else can I announce? Let's see. We've got a Rumble match. I'll announce that. Because we also do have a four-way match, which may be a five-way match. So we've got Matt Meehan involved. He's just coming back from injury, so I want to take it easy for him. I want to figure out whether to put him in that match or whether to ease him in and just give him the Rumble instead.
Yeah. No, it sounds a great card so far. it's a lot of my favourites in it already. So,
lot of good talent there.
Yeah, Lucy Sky. I don't know whether breaking her arm's the best thing that happened to her, because since she's come back, she's got an amazing shape, and she seems to have this confidence.
She does, yeah. That wasn't there. Yeah. So I remember again going back to my debut show. Lucy Sky was on there, and she was against Alexis Falcon, and obviously she's grown, because she's still what's she now, 23.
Yeah, she's not very old. Yeah.
So I'm guessing she was 16 then. But her personality's grown so much, her confidence has grown. She's recently with Dougie Matthews at BWP, which is an absolute barnstormer as well. Sorry, I need to get this lighting right. Apologies.
It's all right. I said it's not too much of a huge bother, because I probably won't release it as video.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's fine.
So yes, lots of talents. Who else can I mention? We've got Maverick Matt Williams is appearing. We've got Jinna. We've got
Jinna's my 7-year-old's favourite wrestler. So.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine, Jinna. We've got Drill appearing. Ryan Lloyd's appearing. So yeah, it's a very good card. Yeah.
Yeah, my youngest has had a slight obsession with Paradox since he was about 3.
Oh,
yeah. He's
how old's your youngest now?
8 next week. So
bring him to Bolton, because that's where I've got a faction called the Black Sheep.
Yeah,
and we've got Jinna, Aitonstein, and Alfie as well.
Oh, we'd love that. I do want to go to Bolton, but because they always do it on Friday nights. It's getting from I'd have to get like the day off work, and so if they do want to during the summer holidays, we could go maybe.
There is a show there. What date? Next Saturday, actually, the 24th. It's like Bolton Football Club do like a community carnival type of thing.
Yeah,
they've got wrestlers there this time.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's his birthday weekend, so we're going to Gulliver's World on Saturday. Yeah, he's upset. Yeah, he's really looking forward. Yeah, it's since the beginning of the year. He's like, "Can I go to Gulliver's World for my birthday?" I'm like, okay.
Just before the pandemic, we had wrestling at Gulliver's World as well.
Oh, wow.
We had a site, so there's like a tent. I think they used it for a circus or something at the time, but Pinfall took over it, and we had shows there all summer one year.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So where can people get tickets for the show?
So it's online at the moment with Skiddle.
Mm-hmm.
The link's out there somewhere. It's shared everywhere. Proper Manchester have just done an article. Rosendale Radio have done it. Saddleworth Free Press have sent it out. But it's all over the Facebook at the moment. I think I'm going to be tiring people out so much because I'll be sharing it that much. I've literally joined all these buy and sell groups, and I'm sharing it through all them buy and sell groups. And so just watch out for the link as well. Yeah,
the link will be in the description below the interview if anybody's interested in going. But it sounds like a great cause, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
The venue is absolutely stunning as well. I went there last week to scout it out. I know Top Rope Academy had a show there the week before, but it's absolutely stunning inside. They've got a brilliant bar, they've got a brilliant cafe, they've got brilliant seats up top so you can watch at the top or around the ring. It's absolutely ideal as well.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, so as I said, link in the description. But a little bit about you. So let's give away your age straight away. So who was your favourite wrestler growing up?
Oh, right. Okay. Growing up. Okay. See, I've got a couple. I can tell you who got me into wrestling, and I can tell you who my first favourite was.
Yeah. Okay.
So my first match that caught my eye was a videotape. It wasn't live or anything like that. It's the 1992 SummerSlam Women's Stadium match between British Bulldog versus Bret Hart.
Yes, I've got the VHS here.
Is it yellow and blue?
I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Oh, right. Red and blue. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a card that was. Hawk and Animal on there.
Mm-hmm.
It was outstanding, yeah.
I don't even have a VHS player anymore, but I'm never getting rid of it.
I don't blame you. I wish I still had mine. To be fair, there were my older brothers as well. But in terms of my favourite, my first favourite was X-Pac. I don't know, actually. I don't know, because I watched all my brother's videotapes, and I loved Shawn Michaels. He was a bad guy at the time. Again, SummerSlam 92 had like Rick Martel match and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't punch each other in the face.
Yeah. And so I loved it, but like when I really got into it, when I watched it every single week religiously, it was X-Pac. For some reason, he just stuck out to me. He's so good, so good.
Well, he when he was the 1-2-3 kid, Vince would throw you guys in with him, and it's like if you have a bad match with 1-2-3 kid, you're not ready.
You're not being signed.
He could have a good match with anyone, so it's like.
That's true. Yeah.
Just shows how good he was, even at that like, such a young age.
He is our gatekeeper. Have a good match with him. Yeah.
That's all.
But yeah, I've got a few. I've got loved X-Pac, loved Jeff Hardy, but there's all of that mold, all of it. Not technical, but also not today's high flyers. It was. I prefer yesterday's high flyers than today's high flyers, because if you ask me now who's my favourite, then you're going to get people like Randy Orton. You know, the technical sound, the ring awareness, the storytellers and things like that. But back in the day, it was the people like X-Pac and Jeff Hardy and people like that.
Yeah, definitely. So what prompted you to start getting the ring yourself? So.
Oh my days, it's before, again, touching on the age thing, it's one of those things where before I got too old, I had to do it. So I'm 34 years old now, and I've loved it since I was about 7 years old. I remember being about 12, 13, because I grew up in Wigan, around the corner from the Snake Pit. I think what was it called at the time? The name's lost me, but it's called something else. It's now a snake pit, and I remember saying to my mum, I really want to go start training wrestling. And as mums are with kids, it's like, no, you're not doing that. You'll get beat up and all that type of stuff. And then coincidentally, I've been doing a lot of sessions with Snake Pit recently as well, so which has come full circle. But I remember seeing an advert on Facebook and to go wrestling training in 2016. And I just went, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And if I don't, then I'm still to this day, I remember saying to myself, it's when I'm 65 and I look back and I've not done it, I'll just regret it massively. Whereas if I've tried it and I've not succeeded, or I didn't like it, or I failed, or I wasn't good enough, or anything like that, at least I tried it, type of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I had to get into it.
Yeah, that's it. I unfortunately waited till I was 40 to start training. So I only started training last year with my son. He was 17. So I love it. I had my first training session. I couldn't walk for about 4 days after it. I was about 3 stone heavier. I'd never done a squat in my life. I'd never done a forward roll. I've done forward roll since I was about 10, probably, so about 30 years. But once I got that basic bit of fitness where I wasn't absolutely wrecked after the warm up, where I could actually still have some type of concentration. Yeah, I love it now. Yeah, and I met so many great people, and
that's the best thing about it, isn't it? Like, the people are always cool. I remember when I came through, my coach was with Jack, Alan, Callum, and there was 2 other guys who've since left, 3 other guys who've since left wrestling altogether. And we came through a Bubblegum, who still to this day, I believe, is the best trainer that was out there. If you're still doing it, it'd still be the best trainer out there, and everybody be so much further than where they are already. But when we did the training in the first sessions, it's like he'd teach you stuff that you'd scared to do, but then once you've done it, it's like, oh wow, I can't believe I've done that. Then the next week you're doing it for fun. So everything was just like building all the time. But yeah, I've just started going back to training again at Salford. Sam Gradwell's took over there. I went for the first time 2 weeks back. I went yesterday and got whiplash in my neck, so I know all them aches and pains. That never goes away. You still feel it, no matter if you're 1 week in or 10 years, and you still feel it in training.
Yeah, you think that doing bumps and stuff will eventually they'll suck less as it goes on. Yeah. I think you just get used to how much they suck. You have to make it fun.
Yeah, you do. At first, it was like when in the first year or two, it's like battle scars. You're quite proud of them, and then now when you're like waking up in the morning and you have to count to 3 to sit up out of bed, it's like, oh god, what's going on?
I love it when I wake up the next day and have big bruises there from the ropes. Yeah,
that's what myself actually.
Yeah, I haven't got any at the moment. No, I've got none at the moment, but I'd love it when I'd wake up. So yeah, but I found it amazing, like physically and mentally. It's just helped me so much. And, and it's been a long time since I think I've made new friends. So yeah, it was just
because you've got what you've got, and then once you go into a different circle, it's like, oh wow, okay, there's this bunch of people that like the same thing. Yeah, I get it.
None of my friends liked wrestling, so I've never haven't had wrestling friends. For ages. Probably the podcast of friends, but I get really neat in real life. You just kind of talk over podcasts and stuff. So
there's also that many people that, because you'll see someone at a show and then you'll not see them for like 10 months, and it's either one or two things. It's like, oh, I've not seen you for a while, and you're best friends. Oh, I'm so sorry, man, I forgot your name. And there's no in between. It's not like, how you doing? You're right. So I was like, gives a cuddle. I did not see you for ages. Oh, fuck's sake. And I usually do that. Who do I do usually? I'll usually do it with like just like Ring Crew or something like that. And I feel so, what's the word? Ignorant that I've forgotten the name, but it's because I don't take in that information as like
I'm crap with names. I'm going into an industry where everybody has 2 names. I'm like, so I just call everyone by the wrestler name. I just find it easier.
Yeah, that's what I do. I call Drill, but me and Drill went to school together as well, and I still call him Drill.
Yeah. Because Sean Only's our trainer, but I've only just started calling him Pete, so I'm so used to calling him Sean.
I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Flick. So I flick between. So was X-Pac Jeff Hardy who you wanted to mold your style around when you started training?
So I knew I wanted to have a finisher off the top rope.
Yeah.
But when I started training, obviously, in fact, right now I wrestle a different style than I did when I came through, because I feel like I've put on a bit of weight, not necessarily in a bad way or a good way, but the age way where you naturally get older, you get slower and all that type of stuff. So I used to do like the Hurricane Ranas and the tilted whirl and all that type of stuff, and I cut all that out now. But I always knew I wanted to do a top rope finisher like Jeff Hardy, but I didn't want to do a swanton bomb. So I did the diving headbutt like Chris Benoit, and I did that a few times. And then I remember I got whiplash in one ring, so I was like, right, I'm changing that. And then I did a splash, which put me on spin on. So I kept that for a while, and I've just changed to like a coup de grace instead of like cool. But yeah, I never wanted to style myself necessarily on X-Pac. In terms of Jeff Hardy, I loved his silent charisma, because when I first came through, I never had that confidence to be the microphone guy, or I guess he's not emotive, but he had that. He always wanted to win for him, and I remember one of my early coaches saying to me that you have a silent charisma when you stood in the ring. Whether it's good or bad, we don't know, but you have something that draws us to you. And I was like, oh, that'll do. I'm happy with that. People, they can make the decision whether they like me or not, but as long as I've got some sort of charisma, then I can build on it. But yeah, in terms of their styles, no, I never really had a style in mind. And again, as I've got older, I appreciated like Dynamite Kid, Bret Hart. They're the ones that I'd love to study. In terms of wrestling, but yeah, definitely not X-Pac and Jeff Hardy have got much more athleticism than I have. We were doing drills yesterday, and it was the basic international was warming up and things like that. I have bad sciatica, my like hips are like that. So when I stand up, I lean to one side. So the basic leap and sleep, I'll always bypass, because I know I'm getting that Billy Gunn leap where his leg goes one side. So I'll just bypass him instead.
Yeah. I remember listening to an interview of Jeff Hardy. He said having doing the swantons as finish is the worst thing he ever did. His back is bits. I mean, that's what
painkillers, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, why? Yeah, but why are you still doing it in AEW? That's kind of a new start. You don't have to do the swanton anymore. But yeah, did you have an idea of a character you wanted to do when you started training?
So I only found that recently, actually. So again, I was given that soldier gimmick, which because when I started training, I had a buzz cut, a tight fade and all that type of stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll go for it. But I threw myself in there 100%. Got myself some expensive tights, boots. There's poppy on the tights, there's soldier on, and there's camouflage and all that type of stuff. And coming out salute, and I had the dog tags, and I had myself t-shirts made just for myself, not to sell though. Yeah. So I was trying to play the part, and in the ring I was trying to look the part and all that type of stuff, but it never felt comfortable. So I kind of slowly dropped that. And then after that, I just found myself floating around without a gimmick. So for a good, I want to say late 2018 to end of the pandemic, obviously there's no wrestling. I was just floating about, and I was as long as I look good, I felt like I'd get bookings and things like that, but it doesn't work like that. And again, I don't put myself out there socially on social media, and I don't go to shows as much as I could, because I've got a little girl and a wife and all that type of stuff. So I'm not one of the boys, should I say. But I remember I had a booking after the pandemic, and I was traveling down to BWP to do one of them carnival shows. It wasn't the one that you've seen, it was the one after that though. And I was listening to Pearl Jam in the car, who were one of my favourite bands growing up. Oh, yeah. I had my black denim shorts on, and I had my Doc Martens on. And I just went, I'm going to go out like this today. Nice. I'm going to have Even Flow as my entrance music. Yeah. I was drinking a can of Monster, and I thought, if I come out, if I'm a good guy, I'm going to smash this on my head and see what the reaction is. And it was phenomenal. So I got praise from the two owners, Alan and Rai of BWP. They said, we want you on the show. So they got me on the BWP off the back of that carnival. And I was like, I'm onto something here. So I changed into the gimmick. And so it's literally just me times by 10. I was a skateboarder. I loved my rock music as a kid, and some of the grunge music, not all of it. and I just felt so much more comfortable. I was, and then slowly that evolved to, okay, you've got something, but what's your hook? What's your, what can people hold on to? So when I remember, because I'm one of 5, and I remember my sister once said I was the black sheep of the family because I was the naughty one, I was. So I remember thinking, I was like, black sheep. There's no black sheep in wrestling.
No.
Like, and again, like I said to you, I'm not one of the boys. I don't put myself out there. I've got a few friends in wrestling, but I don't make it my goal to have wrestling circle and all that type of stuff. Not said, I get on with everyone, but I'd rather just keep myself to myself because I'm quite a reserved person naturally. I think I was saying to Drill, like, put me in a room of 20 people, I'm the one that just listens and nods and says hello, rather than, I'm not in the center of that. And people can take what they want from that. They can, make decisions on how you are as a person. But I thought if I lean into that and become darker with it as well, then I'm onto something. So I can tell a million different stories about the black sheep as well. And it just works. So I started at BTW and it just took off. Like the audience love it. The promoter loves it. And I started getting more and more bookings based off the black sheep of wrestling as well. So it's just easy.
That sounds amazing.
Very easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I much prefer to have one-on-one conversations than try and I get lost in a group of people. Because I always call it like alpha and beta, and like let the alphas be the alphas. You don't. And if there's 2 alphas, you'll just see them like clashing heads. Like I'd rather just watch, observe, say hello, and then find something in common with someone close. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
I don't need to be that guy. Which is again, it's quite the opposite of what wrestling is. Because put yourself in that ring. Again, put me in that ring. Give me a microphone, and I'll tell you a story. I'm confident in front of everyone when it's just me. If I'm speaking to everyone, I'm addressing everyone who are my close friends. I don't have that same confidence. It's strange.
It's weird. Yeah. I want to when I wrestle, I want to wear face paint, which I think will give me confidence. I don't know why. I've not done it yet, but going into the character I've developed, I seem to be able to cut promos and stuff, but Chris can't cut promos.
Yeah,
Janari can. And I don't know what it is, but yeah.
I remember on promos again in that period when I was floating about, and I got onto GPW and I did a few shows there, but it was always one of those. I was tagging with this guy, and I was tagging with that guy, and I don't like them. You don't get the opportunity to shine, especially when you're coming in tagging with someone else. And I get it; they want to see what you can do. But I asked the owner Johnny. I said, "Can I do a promo?" Because I grew up like literally 5 minutes walk from where GPW's held. And I was nervous. I was internally panicking. And I was a face. I don't like being a face in that gimmick. And then I said, why the hell have I just asked him, can I do a promo? And it literally, as expected, when you're expecting something to bomb, it absolutely bombed. There was no reaction. There was a polite, whey. And then I remember feeling terrible backstage, and I just wanted the floor to swallow me up. So after that, I kind of stayed away from them. But then I was getting married in 21, and I knew I had to like prepare for the microphone speech and things like that. So every time I was at a wrestling show, I was like, give me the mic, let me say anything. And slowly my confidence built up. So like now, when I say give me the mic, it's like because I want to address the audience rather than I need to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of gone 180 on that. I love doing promos now.
Yeah, I interviewed Johnny yesterday. He's a really nice guy. So.
Yeah. I remember I said to him, how was it? Johnny said, I didn't hear, but I heard it was terrible. I was like, fuck. I can't even remember what I said. It was like, I've always wanted to wrestle here. I grew up 5 minutes down the corner, and I've got the chance to show you what I can do. And then there's literally like tumbleweed. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, this is not going good.
You think that just being a hometown boy, you'll get a cheer just for that?
Yeah. Usually. I think that's what I kind of went for, but the audience probably thought, oh, this is boring. We're supposed to cheer because you live here. Yeah. It's not like when you go, Boston, Massachusetts.
So looking forward, where do you want to take the black sheep gimmick? Have you got like opponents you want to face, or have you got companies you want to work for? Or something?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm not putting pressure on myself now, and I found myself getting the bookings without that pressure, and it's perfect. I've got 5 companies I work for now. I'd love to add maybe 2 more, but I don't want to do too much. I don't want to overwork myself. I want to spend time with my family, especially after the pandemic. But yeah, if I could do 2 more, one as a singles, one as a tag with Callum. I mean, Pro Wrestling For You messaged me actually, and then this was start of last year. Then they didn't get back. So if they're listening to this, Pro Wrestling For You. But yeah, in terms of where it's going, you know, I hope for a singles title soon. I'm the #1 contender for the Championship of Wales at BWP. I won that in a 4-way match 2 weekends ago. Drill's a champion there.
I was thinking Drill's a champion. Yeah. I'm sure he just won it recently, didn't he?
Yeah, so they've got a show this weekend, which I can't attend, unfortunately. I've got plans. Yeah, so I'm hoping for a good run. But you know what I'm more invested in is I don't want to go to a company and then again, oh, you're in a triple threat, or you're in a mixed tag, or you're in a... I've turned a few companies down because I want to go in with a plan. Okay, so here's your plan. And it doesn't necessarily need to be you're at the top of the card, you're in the middle of the card, you're a title run. It's like, I want you to come in because we've got an idea for a story. And that's what I prefer. Like, I don't want to just be a spare part in a company. I want to go in with ideas, them give me ideas and work together and stuff like that, because I feel like if you don't have these ideas, you're just going to be floating about. And if you don't present these ideas at the same time, they're going to just think that you may be another body that just wants to wrestle. Whereas if a company can see value in you that you care about the company, then it's going to work for both parties. Like, you know, you're going to elevate them and you're going to try your best to do that. And they're going to have faith in you to give you this program. I don't want to just go, yeah, I'll work a tag match and then not see them again. I just don't see any benefit in that. So give me a company, give me a story, give me a plan. I'll do it to the best of my ability. I'll promote you as always. But yeah, that's all I want at this stage. I just want stories and plans and ideas.
Oh, amazing.
Great.
Okay. All right. So if you're promoted for a day, promoting an event, so using wrestlers you've worked with, trained with, wrestlers associated with you in some way. If I give you a match, you tell me who you put in that match.
So
you tell me.
I've had to have worked with it.
They're associated with you in some way. So
Okay.
Yeah. People just use it to put their mates over usually.
Yeah. I've tried not to do that. I've tried not to.
So who'll be in your opening contest? Get the crowd excited. So.
The crowd excited. I mentioned him earlier on, Ravy Davey. I think I've been on the card with Ravy Davey, and it is, as well as being a great wrestler, he's just such a nice guy. But when you're watching as a fan, say you finish a match, you're watching from backstage, and you're just watching, you just can't help but smiling. And I'd love to be a bad guy against Ravy Davey. Put us in an opening match. He's going to get the crowd going for the rest of that card. I can guarantee that. Yeah.
So the opening match would be you versus Ravy Davey.
Yeah. And he'd be going over massively as well. I'm not beating Ravy Davey. He can have all the plaudits.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of him until I got Instagram, and now he's just he's fun.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Such a nice guy as well. I love him.
Who would you put in a comedy star match?
Rabbit. Yeah. You know, it's probably going to be an answer to another one as well, but. And I think he should lean more towards that than the super heel that he can be anyway. But there's nobody like him in the UK scene. You know, he's again, I kept coming through with him. It's almost like you look at him and think, if you saw him for 1 hour, you'd think he's a strange cat.
Yeah.
But if you spent the day with him, you just go, I love him. He's absolutely brilliant. He's just one of those guys, and I think half of the time he's got his bookings through that. So he's on. He did Unstoppable a couple of times, and Phil does the ring announcing there. I know we got the Pro Wrestling For You booking through just hanging around with Phil backstage. Yeah. And he does Tidal, and I'm sure it's the same with what's the African Ugandan giant called? What's his name?
Kamala.
No, the one who runs Tidal.
Oh, I can see his face.
His name's lost me.
Yeah, same.
It used to tag with Seb.
Yeah.
But yeah, he runs tag as well, so I'm sure it's just by being around him and showing that personality, it's like, right, come and work for us. He's literally that guy because he's so funny, so brilliant, and he's so inappropriate sometimes as well.
Who would you have him against in a comedy match?
In a comedy match, okay. Let's see.
Comedy matches are hard because do you have two comedy wrestlers, or do you have a straight man and a?
I think I'd have a straight. I think I'd have a serious man, but I'm trying to think of a serious man. Who's coming to mind? CJ Banks.
Ooh, that'd be an interesting match.
It would, because I've never seen any other side to CJ's other than I'm a serious wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a bad guy, still a serious wrestler. He's a good guy, he's still a serious wrestler. So I'd like to see that, just that dynamic of this weird, funny guy, who's also a bad guy, and making people laugh against this super serious wrestler. It's almost like Steve Blackman serious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be a good dynamic match, I think.
That's a good clash of styles as well.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Yeah. Your women's title match.
Women's, someone who I predict will be on Progress in the very near future. Can you see me because you're frozen there? Are you still there?
Have I frozen? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, you're back. Yeah, someone who I predict will be in Progress very, very, very soon. Harley Hudson.
Yes.
I think she's great. The women's, and it's quite sad to say, but there's not too many out there at the moment. Top of my head, I can list 10 names who are like outside of people like Rio and Alexis who are already doing Progress and all these type of names. I'm trying to be outside of the box and say this is who I'd like to have to elevate them more. So Harley Hudson is one, and Aurora Tevez.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah. There is the second generation coming for next generation. I know after coming out of the pandemic, every show seemed to be a combination of Gia Adams, Tonga, Lizzie Evo, and Alexis Falcon. Just seemed to be them. That combination of them four. But now you've got like Harley Hudson and Lucy and Aurora Tevez and Lily Winter and this nice little.
Yeah. I mean, I could have named Lucy, but weirdly, like, and I'm going to give the game away a little bit now, but because she's booked in against a guy at my show, and I don't want to give too much of that match away either. But after a match with Dougie, she can hang with the boys in a non-offensive way, because I don't want to disrespect the guys or the girls that she faces, or even Lucy's guy. But she hits hard. Mm-hmm. She's again, no disrespect to her. She's surprisingly athletic, and she's just good in the ring. Yeah. So I could have easily named her, but I always want to say, I want to put you against the meanest, baddest bastards. Rather than here's a girl for you. Do you know, I don't want to do that.
Cool. About your mid-card title match?
Which one? Sorry.
A mid-card title. So
mid-card title.
Like your workhorse match.
Workhorse match. There's so many workhorses out there.
It doesn't have to be one-on-one. It's your show. You can put.
Yeah. Workhorse. You know, even though he's a main eventer, Joey's got to be there, hasn't he? Joey Hayes.
Oh, he's out of it. He seems to be everywhere at the moment. Every show I go to, he seems to be on it.
Oh, it does. And I was saying on the last podcast I did, I was like, the thing is with Joey, he's not is pretentious the right word, or particular about what show he does. I've heard people say, don't do this show, protect your gimmick, blah blah blah. He will wrestle anywhere because he just loves to wrestle. So you won't find him, no, I'm not doing that, it's too small. You know, he'll wrestle at the biggest of the biggest shows, and he'll wrestle at the smallest of the smallest shows because he just loves wrestling. And no pun intended.
He seems to be in a I want to put the next generation phase at the moment, because I don't think I've seen him win for a while. He's always putting over the next generation.
He's just put me and Callum over, him and DDL. He's just put me and Callum over. And you know, it's so receptive as well, because I was looking forward to that match so much. I planned 70% of that match myself. The match that we saw, that was there, 70% of that idea was mine. The finish wasn't, because Drill had his input, the promoter, and then obviously the guy suggested something. But he was so receptive, because I've had matches before where I thought something was a good idea, and then I've not used any of it because they've got their ideas and they're not willing to use it. Whereas Joey's gone, outstanding, love that. Yeah, let's go for that. Do you know what I mean? I love that type of thing. And if it's wrong, people go, how about this? We'll do this. We'll add this. Or if they think it's great, majority of people say, no, let's do this, because they want to do their thing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he's that giving. Is brilliant in the ring. And again, there's not one person in British wrestling that has got a bad word to say about him. He's just absolutely outstanding as a human being. So I'd have Joey as the workhorse, but I need to give him a good opponent now. I don't have another workhorse. A match that I want to see go 30 minutes. Who could that be? Who could that be? There's so many coming through as well. You know what? I'm gonna throw in a name that the match is coming up. Jack Johnson.
Ooh.
Jack's about to explode. He's in the last 18 months. He's got so smooth in the ring now. I think that's probably the best word for him. Smooth. That's where he's at, and he's just ever improving.
Yeah, I love Jack.
Me too. Good lad.
And he doesn't look exactly like Anthony Getski. I can tell the difference between them. Everyone seems to say they look exactly the same. A hardcore Extreme Rules style match. This can be anything from comedy 24/7 stuff straight up to death match. You can. Yeah,
I'm gonna put me in there. I'm gonna put me, Alan, and Jinner in a 3-way.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've wrestled Alan multiple times. I've never wrestled against Jinner, but I actually had a 4-way BWP. It was in that match. I've tagged with him, but I know he likes them matches.
Oh, he loves them. Yeah.
I can take them matches. I've just never really got the opportunity to have one. And Alan's a crazy cat. So yeah, throw us 3 in there and watch it be destroyed. The ring will be gone, and there'll be blood everywhere, and we'll all have fun.
Yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of deathmatch wrestling. I don't like things being pierced, so seeing things being pierced. So when people get like light tubes and stuff,
yeah,
like
the light tubes. The light tubes, I think,
pulling pins out their back and stuff. Oh no.
Yeah, the light tubes, I think, are the worst weapon in death matches. I think they just look so crap. Like, they don't look. Yeah. I know it's supposed to be class, but when you see someone go through it, you don't think, oh my god. And I'm not saying at the same time you should be thrown through milk bottles or anything like that, but it just doesn't look too great. But yeah, the tables, the kendo sticks, the barbed wire, all that type of stuff I love. But yeah.
If you were in a hardcore match and your opponent went under the ring and got a bag, would you prefer it to be drawing pins or Lego that came out?
So I had a feud with Bentley at BTW over, was it 21 or 22? I think it might have been into both. I think it was over 21 and 22. And as a nod to my old gimmick, I bought a shed load of toy soldiers, and I poured them all into the ring.
That's amazing.
And I took a big back body drop onto the toy soldiers, and it was fine, to be honest. Alex didn't want to take any of that stuff, so I was like, I'll take it all in. So, but yeah, this is going to sound sadomasochistic, but I'd probably have to go drawing pins, just because I want to experience it once. Yeah, I do.
It is quite a 50-50 split when I ask that question. So people, they think, oh, just pull the pin out, but I don't. It was only from the landing on a Lego.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling, is it?
Yeah. Unless you're Jenna, you put both on the table to set it on fire and then fall off a ladder, go through it at a family-friendly show. Cool. Your tag team title match.
Again, you know what? I was thinking this on the drive home from work today. There's a dearth of talent in the tag team department, in the sense that we've got some strong tag teams, but are there enough? That's a question for me, because like not just two singles guys thrown together, but actual tag teams like Synergy, or Reese and Rogan, for example. I don't think, and I love Synergy. Listen, they're as tag team champions with Callum at This Is Wrestling. I've asked Drill to book it. They're the ones I want. Us versus Synergy. They hit hard. They look legit. They're good with the crowd. All that type of good stuff that you want.
Amazing as face or heels as well. So
yeah, 100%. They put on a good match with anyone. Obviously, got to ICW. Same with Reese and Rogan. Two throwbacks, proper looking tag team. You know, other than them, and I think there's a few coming through now from Stoke way. I can't remember the names. Two young lads, but there's not many. And again,
Act
no
Two?
disrespect to Synergy. What's that?
Act 2,
Is that what they're called? Is someone Knudsen?
Jack Knudsen and
That's it.
Benjamin Harland. Yeah, Act 2.
That's it. Yeah. But outside of us four, I'm struggling to name tag teams who have like the same gear, same Synergy, all that type of stuff. So, and again, no disrespect to Synergy, but look how many titles they're holding, and it's not that they're great because I'm sure. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, in terms of tag teams, I'd love myself and Callum to wrestle Reese and Rogan or Synergy.
I'd love that.
You got hard hitting with them two, and then with Callum you've got an athlete, like a super athlete who can do anything in the ring as well. So it'd be a good dynamic. If it was like a 6-way tag match, actually, that'd be phenomenal. I'd love that.
Yeah, look up Odyssey Pro Wrestling. They had Reese and Rogan versus Synergy versus RPD and Rick Marcus in a. I don't know if it was a TLC or just a ladder match, but it was.
Was it about November last year?
I think it was late 21, I think.
Oh, that far back, okay.
Maybe, or early 22. It was one of their early shows of Odyssey, but yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and my youngest, because Synergy are heels at TNT, and they keep calling them a loser whenever they come out, so he hates Synergy. So seeing Synergy get put through tables and stuff, he loved it. So, cool. And then it's your main event.
All right, okay. I think I might have seen this somewhere, I'm guessing. But two names I mentioned, my friend Carl, Sandy Beach versus Son of Durson. I think that this year, next year, 5 years ago, that can main event any card in any promotion. Give them 30 minutes and watch them go. That is, again, I'm being biased with Colin. I don't think people sing his praises enough, and maybe it has got to do with the injuries and stuff like that. But I could name loads. Like, I've got loads of people where I think give him them. Like, for example, Luke Jacobs. Now,
oh yeah,
I remember being one of his first singles matches that he had outside of being a tag, and when he spoke to me backstage, and he was nervous because he said, "Could you walk me through this? Because I'm not used to doing singles." And to think back then to where he is now, but even then he was great. I love him because I think he's a throw. He reminds me of Stan Hansen.
Yes. For
some reason, he just reminds me of Stan Hansen, and he's a big beefy guy. Put him in a main event because he deserves it. But obviously, he's on to bigger and better stuff now. Obviously, I'm talking specifically Northwest here. It sounds like, and it sounds like I'm talking about people who are, I could mention. I know I've mentioned CJ, and I know I've mentioned Joey, but I could mention people like Gradwell and Ashton Smith and all these type of names. But in my head, I'm thinking, what has not been seen?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to see in terms of give me a card, and this is what I'd like to give an audience that have not seen these matches. I always think if I had a promotion, you would never see me do Martin Kirby versus Joey Hayes, or Martin Kirby versus DDL versus Joey, or CJ, because everyone's seen it 1,000 times over the last 10 years. So give me this guy who's on the periphery versus that guy, and that's what you'd see a lot of. Because I feel like you don't see that enough these days. You know, so it's these guys versus these guys, and then these guys versus these guys, and these guys versus these guys. But no one's learning then. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
So, yeah.
This guy versus this guy. By the end of the show, it's usually this guy. Now this guy's here. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
Even if he loses, if you put a good performance in the crowd, be like,
100%.
Yeah.
And I was speaking with both Drill and Matt recently. This is wrestling, and you know what? Wrestling's not got enough of in British wrestling, and I'm sure anybody will hate that term. I would, but I don't feel like we've got enough jobbers.
Definitely.
So imagine, for example, you got booked and you're 1 year in, and they said, okay, we've got 5 shows this year, Chris, but you've got 3 matches. Are you going to lose each one? You're going to lose to CJ Banks, you're going to lose to Martin Kirby, and you're going to lose to Sonna Durson. You'd be like, sweet. I feel like we've not got enough of the matches where people have got the role, where you're going to learn here. Do you know what I mean? Write your box, who against, we'll figure it out. Am I going over? Don't know, don't think so. Do you know what I mean? I feel like them are the conversations rather than forward long-term booking. So I think Driller said he's going to look at something like that as well.
Yeah, because if you get the crowd behind you, when you actually finally get that win, it's going to be
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, main event, Callum and Sonna.
I don't think I've seen that match yet.
I don't know if they have had it. I might have made it. I think they might have had one at This Is Wrestling, but I'm not sure if Phil Michaels is involved in that actually.
I'm trying to think. I think everywhere I've been, I think they've either both been heels or both been faces. I've never seen them. Yeah,
very good chance. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think it's something. I think it could happen like TNT Ignition now, because I think Sonna's just turned face there, so it could be something that's happened. Yeah, but yeah, I'd love to watch that match. I'm a huge fan of Sonna, huge fan of Sandy. So, but
I think for me, they're the 1A and 1B of next big major players in British wrestling.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love to watch that card. That'd be fun, a lot of fun. Where else can people see you in the near future?
So wrestling with Bolton Town Wrestling the 24th at the Bolton Community Hub. That's like a free show where there's a football match involved with like Nicholas Anelka playing, Fernando Hierro, all these ex-Bolton.
Amazing. Legends.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. But I've had to, because I've got a very busy summer in terms of holidays. Saturday I'm prior plans. June 30th I'm on a stag do. August I'm on a stag do. I've got 2 weddings in August. So yeah, it's a slow summer, but then I've got July 16th, which is my show. July 30th, which is This Is Wrestling. I'm sure I'll be back at BWP soon. Unstoppable very soon as well. Can't do their next couple of shows again because of summer. So yeah, it's on pause for me at the moment until January the 24th and July the 16th, and after that I've got a stretch.
Amazing. Before we go, do you want to promote any social media you have? I know you say you don't use it very much, but
yeah, well, my Instagram's just Stoxx STOXX wrestler or Stoxx_wrestler. Carl Stoxx on Facebook as well. I'm not really a Twitter user, but yeah, also just come to that July 16th show to anyone who's listening or watching, because not for me, not for the wrestlers, but for the family, because it's a 500-seater venue, and we've got David De Gea signed goalkeeper gloves.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
We've got £100 John Lewis voucher. We've got 2 comedy tickets to the Frog and Bucket. We've got 2 tickets to a meal for 2 at Elnicott, which is a restaurant in Manchester. Signed posters. We've got sweets giveaways, alcohol giveaways. So the raffle is going to be probably the best British wrestling raffle you've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah. Please come, because you'll be doing the family a massive favour.
Yeah, I put links for tickets and to social media in the description below the interview. So I've really enjoyed speaking today. I'd love to have you on again in the future. That was a lot of fun. So yeah,
I appreciate your time.